All right, have you built your 2026 business plan? Maybe you haven't built it yet, or maybe you're kind of halfway and you want to tweak it. This episode is for you. Now, if you remember last year, I went through this entire same thing, same approach, and broke down how to build a business plan step by step. There were 200 of you and your colleagues that commented for all the freemiums that I gave in order to build a business plan for 2025 to go make $500,000. What's cool is 219 of you and your colleagues sold 2 or more homes because of the free stuff that we gave away and how we designed their business plan. We're going to do the same thing for 2026, yet this is going to be 10 times better. The planning's better, the packets are better, the freemiums are better. So hang tight. This will be a really fun episode. One of my favorite quotes in regards to planning is right here. If you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. You should not be surprised where you finish 2026. If you last year finished somewhere and you were curious and surprised and bummed why you didn't hit your goals, that's on you. You didn't plan. You didn't have a target, so you ended up somewhere else. Let's fix that. So if you have a business plan, maybe you're done and you want to compare it to how I build mine and how I was able to go sell 75 homes my first year as a realtor, how I was able to become top 1% selling alarms door to door, or how I was able to become a religious professor at such a young age. It all came back to my business plan and how I strategized, how I was able to plan for my family, for religion, for finances, for my career, for my personal growth and my mental health. How am I able to plan all of that? Have a very well-rounded approach to those areas and yet still outwork everybody. That's what we're going to talk about today. Now, if you're confused at why we're doing a Loom call, the reason we're doing this is over the first quarter this year, I'm going to do 12 episodes about how you can go make $500,000 this year and put it in your bank account. A lot of these topics are going to be zero fluff, right to the point. And that's the goal. Too often in real estate, you have to fast forward an hour to get to like the really good stuff, not on these calls. Now, if you didn't watch the first episode out of the 12, this is what we covered last week. I went through 7 different principles that you have to focus on this year. And if you do, I guarantee that you'll hit the goal, or at least the likelihood that you do goes through the roof. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch it. Tons of free stuff that we gave out. Lots of you requested all the different items that I provided for completely free. So for the next 12 weeks, this is episode number 2 of the series. We're going to talk about the different things that you have to do this year to go put $500,000 in your bank account. Now, why can I talk about this? Well, if you look at my career path, I was a religious professor, the youngest hire that they had ever seen. Got into door-to-door sales, was the top 1% nationwide, selling alarm systems door-to-door. Got into real estate, sold 75 homes my first year, and now I'm the CEO and founder of Davis Sales Training. This is a worldwide coaching platform and a nationwide brokerage team at Real, and it's growing really fast. And I've also trained realtors all over Canada and all over the US, and we've had realtors completely blow up their business. Israel started working with me mid last year, made $100,000 in 90 days of working with me. Tina had a complete stagnant business in California. Now she's got multiple deals under contract. Billy was a part-time realtor, one of the best humans. I hope you get to meet him one day out in Alabama. And he was a firefighter stuck in the part-time world. Tried 4 or 5 different coaching platforms. Could not make the switch. Within 3 months of working with me one-on-one, he went full-time. Now he's in the top 3 realtors in volume in Alabama. And that's just a few of the stories, let alone William, who sold 57 homes his first year as a realtor after working with me. It works. Trust the process, take a ton of notes, and adhere to how we build this business plan. If you've already built yours, compare and contrast. If you're halfway done, maybe this will help you fill it. If you haven't done it, then watch this 10,000 times to make sure you build this out. Now, if you need help, last year I did 592 free consultations for realtors. You hop on Zoom for 15, 20 minutes. I completely picked apart their business plan or helped them build it, and then they went off to grow in their markets. If you want one, comment free consultation down below. Anytime you see this orange bell and whatever phrase is right here, comment that down below in the YouTube episode, and then shoot me a DM on Instagram, and whatever it is, I'll make sure I email it out to you or text it out to you. So right now, free consultation. I will help you, just like all those other realtors I did in 2025, to help you go build your business plan. Don't let it be because you didn't ask that you weren't able to get help. Now, the other word that I want you to comment is free worldwide training. I started doing something about a month ago where I wanted to give back to the real estate community for free. So no matter where you're at, Australia, Canada, US, anywhere, and you want free live training for 30 minutes, I now do a Zoom call every Tuesday for 30 minutes, and we train on how these realtors are putting deals under contract right now. And I do this type of a training, and then I give it to you for completely free. So if you want to get into our free community, comment free worldwide training down below and shoot me a DM on Instagram. Okay, you ready? Let's jump into it. All right, let's go build your 2026 business plan. Now, if you don't have the packet already, there's a 50-page packet that's completely free, and I'll walk you through the entire thing. Comment 2026 business plan down below, and I'll get that out to you. Now, before we jump into this, what you'll need is I'd highly recommend to go get these two things. Now, a mentor of mine online that I've followed for a long time, his name's Jesse Itzler. He has what's called a big-ass calendar. It's basically a big-ass calendar. You can follow along the entire year, and it's massive. And it allows you to visually see your calendar and design a life this year by design and not live by default. You can also go get his big calendar for the wall. I'd recommend you go get those two things. You're maybe out $80. And then go get a journal. Get a journal. Go get the right books and understand the principle behind planning. This will help you have everything you need to go build this business plan. So go get the calendar, go get a journal, get the notebook, these books right here, and you're ready to go. Now, let's assume that you have those and let's break this down. Okay, so most real estate agents, and trust me, I've gone through a lot of different business plans. What they're gonna do is the packet they provide you, or maybe one that you've gone through before because you bought someone's business plan and it wasn't given out for free, is going to be completely real estate transaction based. So everything they have you build, or maybe that you've already built, is literally transactions and money. That's it. But then why did 84% of realtors fail within their first 2 years of real estate? Or why did 71% of realtors in 2024 not sell a single home? It's because that doesn't work. You can't outwork a bad strategy. If you're not happy at home, or if you're not growing as an individual, then it won't matter. You won't sell real estate. So that's why this business plan you'll see is designed around Sahil Bloom's book, The 5 Types of Wealth. If you haven't read this, I'd recommend that you go get it. The entire planning booklet that I put together is designed on this. And the theme, the idea is wealth is built through 5 different things: time, social, so our relationships, mental, physical, and financial. If you can build those things, you'll grow this year in 2026. Now, out of the packet, there's a section I want to read. And if you have the packet, then pull this up and you can follow along. It's on page 8. It says, your wealthy life may be enabled by money, but in the end, it'll be defined by everything else. Most people chase money as the ultimate measure of success, only to feel unfulfilled when they get it. That's because real wealth is more than financial gain. It also includes your time, relationships, physical health, mental well-being, according to Sahil Bloom in his book, The 5 Types of Wealth. Now, this is by far one of my favorite principles. The reason I focus so much on planning with all the realtors I coach, for example, all these different realtors that I coached, or I'm currently coaching on the brokerage team, or on the one-on-one coaching. The reason I put them through a 30-day onboarding about getting their business plan in order is because if the target is clear and you feel like you're growing in your relationship with your spouse or with your kids or with God or yourself and your mental health, then real estate is pretty easy. So you have to be able to approach it from all the different aspects. Now, if you want to inquire about the brokerage team, where all this coaching is completely free, then we need to put a bell right here, and you need to comment brokerage team. And I'd be more than happy to hop on a call and talk to you about this, because on our brokerage team, these are things that we talk about. We talk about the importance of putting you first. So if you want any information on the brokerage team or one-on-one coaching, then comment those phrases down below. I'll reach out to you, shoot me a DM just in case I don't see your comment, and then let's talk about that because this is the type of training you should be getting. Anyways, in the booklet, I also quoted and put in there a study that Clayton Christensen refers to in the book, How Will You Measure Life? He talks about how he would go back to these reunions from his days as a Harvard grad. And it was crazy. He would see so many graduates that had taken turns for the worse. Like right here, it says, he had mentioned that among these classmates was Jeffrey Skilling, who was once CEO of Enron and whose actions contributed to the collapse of the economy, the loss of jobs and the destruction of employees' retirement savings. Christensen uses Skilling's example as a cautionary tale and suggests that readers should carefully consider how best to avoid the same decisions that led to him going astray. So I've been around sales for a long time. And if you only plan for transactions or for money, then at some point you'll feel unfulfilled. The goal of today's training is to put you in a position where you don't end up in that way. You don't go astray. You feel fulfilled. You're happy. And you're also killing it in your industry, which obviously is real estate. So before we jump into this, one thing that's really important, the reason you need to take notes as we go through this is you've probably heard this Harvard study, and there's an importance of writing down goals. And when they were asked before they graduated, how many people have goals, how many people write the goals down, it was wild because they followed them for 10 years and they found that the 3% right here that had goals and they were written down, they outmade or outperformed or made more than the other 97% of graduates from Harvard. That means this little 3% that wrote everything down, they were 30 times more successful. So go get the big ass calendar, go get the journal, go get the planner. And as you build this out and you write this down, it'll skyrocket. That practice alone will skyrocket your likelihood that you have an incredible year. Okay, let's jump into this. So again, if you want a free consultation, you want me to analyze your business plan and walk you through this, comment free consultation down below. Shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll reach out to you so I can help you build this. By the end of the episode, this is ideally what you should have put together. You're going to have your business plan, which will look like this. How many transactions, why, what systems you'll have in place, and the distractions you need to be careful about avoiding. You're going to have a vision board put together and your schedule will look just like this. So by the end of the call, if you can get in a position where you have all these things, you're going to have a phenomenal year. I guarantee you that. Remember, if you don't have this packet, comment 2026 business plan. And then find me on Instagram, shoot me a DM, and I'll get you this whole packet. 50 plus pages. It'll walk you through everything we're going to talk about today so you can kind of follow along as you listen to this. All right. So the number one thing I see when I analyze business plans is three things. There's no vision board. There's no reason they want to hit 24 homes. There's no plan to actually hit the homes. It's luck and chance and up here in the air. And then it's not converted to the schedule. When I look at the schedule, nothing shows me their business plan or the vision behind it. Your schedule should show me exactly what you're hitting and why you're hitting it. So that's what we're going to build today. Before we do that, I want to go all the way backwards. And the most important thing you can do is an audit. So we're going to spend maybe 5 minutes on this. If you get the booklet, make sure you go through this. If you need help building or doing your audit, then go through the booklet. There's a bunch of different pages on this. The important part about auditing is you have to remember the farther back you can go and get a bigger bird's eye perspective, then you can see the errors in your business. If you can see the errors in your business, you'll fix it. And it gives you a higher chance, probability, that you'll actually perform better this year. Right here in the book on page 11, it says, when you're in a challenging situation, decision, or emotion, according to Stanford neurobiologist Andrew Huberman, which I'm sure a lot of you watch him on or YouTube, your field of vision literally narrows. Everything but the object of focus becomes blurry and your eyes turn slightly inward towards your nose. The phrase, he can't see past his nose, has some basis in science. But by expanding your visual field, literally zooming out, softening your gaze, widening your peripheral vision, you can unlock yourself from the stress response, from getting mirrored in details and losing the bigger picture. So what happens is realtors, because you're not doing this, because you're not having these feedback loops, you're not auditing your business throughout the entire year, you only build this plan one time, what's happening is you're starting to focus and optimize things that should not be optimized. Like it says right here by Elon Musk in the book, The Science of Scaling. You have to be able to learn from the past. And this quote is like one of my favorites. He says, life is divided into three terms, that which was, which is, and which will be. Let us learn from the past to profit by the present, lean from the present to learn better in the future. So again, you have to be able to like go backwards. Now, if you're not auditing on a weekly basis, if you're not trying to catch these mistakes and doing this every Sunday, then I have a booklet right here for completely free. Let's see where it is. Comment weekly planning. So systems plus weekly planning. And then DM me on Instagram. This booklet, this weekly planning booklet is completely free. I'll make sure I get that out to you. But you've got to be doing this. If you think of like Apple and Amazon and all these big companies, they have outside counsel coming in giving audits, catching weak points so they can fix it. As a realtor, you got to be doing the same thing, right? That's the hardest part about being a 1099 independent contractor is no one's doing this. You got to do it for yourself. So let me walk you through that. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to look at these 5 topics: time wealth, social wealth, mental wealth, physical wealth, and financial wealth. And now in the booklet, it'll go through this in detail. Essentially, this is what you're going to do. You're going to look at your time wealth. Go back and look at your calendar from 2025. Ask yourself, what are my values and how much time am I putting there? Because sometimes we say my values are God, self, spouse, kids, community, work. But then we look at the calendar and the calendar is saying that you don't really value those things. So you need to have a good audit on your time wealth. Make sure your time is going where you want it to go because it's the one thing that you can never manipulate or get back. The second thing is social wealth. Go analyze your relationships. Who's in your inner circle that you interact with all the time? Who's in your circle that's a little bit bigger, like the lenders and the title work reps that you associate with, people at church that you run into all the time? And ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how is that relationship and how could I be better? Analyze the people that are in your lives. They're in your life for a reason. There's one of my favorite quotes. I'll have to find out where it is. But it says, the same amount of time that God took to place the star when Christ was born, he took the same amount of time to place you and somebody else in a path at the right time for you two to help each other continue forward. I just love that quote, and I probably butchered it, but you get the idea. You should audit the relationships in your life. If you're married, do it with your spouse. If you have kids, do it with your kids. You should really analyze the people that are in your life. The second one is mental health or mental wealth. Are you getting smarter? Are you growing? How many books did you read? How many seminars did you go to? Audit this. Most realtors, most people read 1 book a year and they don't go to any seminars. They're not sharpening the saw and getting better. The reason you're not doing deals is because other realtors are outperforming you. Their skill set's better. So are you getting better? Make sure you do this audit. The other one is physical wealth. What's your exercise plan? What's your nutrition plan? And do you have a stress management plan? Most realtors operate in stress 24/7. I saw a podcast episode recently by Mel Robbins talked about how 86% of people deal with an overwhelming amount of stress and anxiety. Well, what happens if you go to bed stressed? You're going to wake up stressed. And then because you're so stressed, you can never out-strategize a bad state. And so you don't do any real estate. So analyze your stress management. Do you have a plan in place? And the last one's your financial. So you're going to analyze income that came in and your expense sheet. So you're going to look at all the different goals you had, actual income, listings, buyer deals, and then any other income that you generated. Identify your monthly expenses. So in the workbook, you can go through this. And remember, comment the word 2026 business planning. If you want this workbook, it's 50 pages. We'll walk you through this all. And then DM me on Instagram for the workbook. But go through your expenses, figure out how much you're spending, and then really just dive into, okay, how many ads did I run this year? How many reels did I put out? How many YouTube episodes did I put out? What about door knocking? How many open houses? What about FSBO and expireds? Like this whole list right here in the workbook. Break it all down. This will help you audit the past year. Remember, we're going to take that data and we're going to fix our 2026 planning. The better you know your past, the more likely you are to not repeat it in the future. If you don't do this, then there's going to be a reason you're selling 4 or 5 homes every year for the next 10 years. We have got to figure out what's not working, what is working. Once you're done, you're going to hop over and you're going to do a 1-page summary. Don't use ChatGPT. You're going to actually write this out in a notebook and you're going to just audit the year in a 1-page summary. My mentor, Casey Baugh, some of you probably follow him or listen to his podcast, Case Studies, talks about this all the time. You've got to be able to do a 1-page summary to reflect on that past. Once you're done right here, then we can move forward. So maybe pause the YouTube episode, get the packet, comment 2026 business planning, go do your audit, and then restart the video. And now we're going to do the next 10 minutes building out our business plan. All right, let's say you did your audit, you're ready to go. Let's say you have your big ass calendar, you went and got the book, you read through it, you understand how we're building this. Now we can sit down and build this. So what you're going to do, the biggest mistake I see with realtors is they don't connect their business plan to their vision board. They say, I want to do 20 homes. I ask them why. They're like, because. There's got to be some reason behind that. Real estate's really hard, especially if you're trying to do 20 plus homes. You have to have this fuel, this fire behind you. Otherwise, when it gets hard, you're not going to work. So how do you do this? What you're going to do is you're going to go do this formula. You're going to take your vision board items. So let's say you built your vision board from the business packet. You put all your items on here. You vacations with your family, with your spouse, maybe rental properties you want to pick up, a watch you want to buy. You have that whole list. Okay? That's the first number you need. Then you take your monthly expenses. Let's say it's $10,000 a month just to survive. Pay for mortgage, phone bills, utilities, all that stuff. Then you add lifestyle. So how much do you guys go out to eat? Do you travel often? You take those 3 numbers and add them up. That will give you this total number. So let's say it's $240,000. What's your average commission? $10,000. So that means you need 24 deals to then get that goal. Now, the question that I always ask people right here is how fast do you want to go? Do you want to accomplish this in 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years? If it's 2 years, you only need 12 deals this year. If it's 1 year, you're going to hit 24. So I see a lot of realtors that make a mistake right here is you have to make sure you give a time-bound boundary on this, a deadline. If you don't put a deadline on this, then what happens is you procrastinate. And then all of a sudden you're scrambling at the end of the year. Loans take a while to close, and then you miss your goal. So make sure you know what your time is. So let's say you have 24 transactions. Great. Now I know my target for the year. The one suggestion I would give you right here is from a book, The Science of Scaling. So I recently read this from Dr. Benjamin Hardy, and I'd recommend that you go get this incredible book, which, by the way, if you're not following along for our book club, this is a free book club. We don't have meetings. We don't talk about the book unless you're on the brokerage team or in coaching. But this booklet is completely free. It walks through all the books that I'm reading with all the agents I coach. Comment 2026 book club right here. Comment book club and I'll get you this booklet. That way you can follow along with the books that I recommend. All these books that I'm throwing out there, they're all on the book. Okay, so one quote from here that I wanted to mention is they talk about impossible goals. The reason he talks about impossible goals is when you set an impossible goal, it literally makes you have to just think outside the box of, holy cow, how the heck am I going to hit this? And so because that causes you to think like that, you go get different mentors, you work differently, your strategy changes because it's forcing you to scratch your head of how am I going to hit this? So if your goal right here is 10 and you're like, yeah, I can hit 10, you'll end up procrastinating and most likely hitting your goal. So if your goal is 24, I would stretch you to do 30. And if you're like, okay, I could hit that, then do 35. You have to hit a number where it's like, how in the heck would I hit that? Because when you pick that number, then all the things that you do throughout the year will allow you to be on pace to hit that goal. You'll pull all-nighters, you'll get the coaches, you'll get the partnerships, you'll work hard because that goal stretches you. So that's a great part from this book that I wanted to mention right here. All right, after that, what you're going to do is we're now going to actually build the business plan. Now, Alex Ramosi talks about the number one issue that realtors have is obscurity. No one knows who you are. So you have to be able to get out of that. How do you do that? The core four. You either warm outreach, cold outreach, post free content, or you run paid ads. 75% of your day as a realtor, in order to hit this goal, should be focused on these things right here. Prospecting, go on appointments, qualified appointments, follow up with your leads, or reach out to your database, get better, role play, script practice, read, enhance your skill set, and then focus on your values. God, self, spouse, kids, community, and work. Anything else, cut it out, delegate, or hire out so you can focus on these four things. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take this diagram and you're going to identify what prospecting methods you're going to choose to build out your business plan. I'd recommend that 75% of your goal, so of that 24 number, 75% of it, you should have outbound aggressive prospecting methods to hit that number. And then 25% of your plan comes from passive, like, I'll do it once or twice a month. Hopefully I get a deal from it. That could be social media posting, referrals, door hangers, client events, that type of stuff. But the aggressive prospecting, you have to build your foundation on. That's going to be the left side. So what you do is you pick which ones you're going to do from this list from left to right. This is the most effective bang for your buck. So let's say I take FSBO and expired. Okay, so right here, I'm going to identify what it is. FSBO expired. So that's going to be one of my aggressive prospecting methods to hit my goal. The second question you're going to ask yourself are, what are the weekly systems that will allow me to do that? Well, let's pick a couple. So for FSBO expireds, let's say from 9 to 10 a.m., call, text, leave voicemail. So that's going to be my system that I keep, and it's Monday through Friday. That'll be one weekly system that I keep. Let's say in addition to that, I'm going to door knock 15 each week. So boom, that's all you need to do in order to do FSBO expireds. Now, are there other things that you could put on there? Sure. But one thing I want to mention as you identify the systems is the Pareto principle. Most of the time, doing less consistently over time is better than picking a ton and never being consistent. In James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, he talks about how you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So these systems right here, these weekly systems, will help you with the FSBO expireds. Now, you keep going down. The next question is there anything monthly or quarterly that I could do? Well, maybe monthly, you partner with a title company or a lender, and they drop off door hangers. So that could be a super simple monthly activity that maybe you do on the first Monday of each month. All the FSBO expires that hit last month, you go and drop this off. Now, for me, I always paid somebody $200 to do this because I didn't want to do it. It wasn't worth my time. So if I were you, I'd recommend going that route. Now, the last thing is your distraction. Most people don't identify the distraction. They get distracted and then they're not consistent, and consistency is king. One of the greatest books, Atomic Habits, that I just referred to up here, he also says, before you try to increase your willpower, try to decrease the friction in your environment. So yeah, we can hoorah and set goals and establish consequences for not doing these systems, but why not just eliminate the friction in the environment? Alex Ramosi has a great quote on this. And he says, my father used to tell me a focused fool can accomplish more than a distracted genius. So your most valuable asset isn't your time, it's your attention. A man with time and distractions will always lose to a man with a deadline and a singular focus. So your goal right here is to identify your distractions. Now, if you don't know what your distractions are, you're going to take your ideal calendar schedule, your daily calendar, and you're going to do what's called a 15-minute audit or an hourly audit. So you're going to have an alarm that goes off either on your phone, your watch, or you can go get one of these digital timers off Amazon that Alex Ramosi always talks about. And you're going to, every time the alarm goes off, write down what you did the last 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour. Do that for a week. This will help you, if you're honest with yourself, identify your distractions. So one distraction right here could be maybe you don't get the info on time, so you scramble. So how would you solve that? Well, maybe I can hire it out. Or maybe do it the night before. Then what's the next distraction? Maybe it's fear. I don't know what to say. How do you solve this? Get into role play. Something simple like that, okay? Just identify 2 distractions. You don't need to do a whole list. Which, by the way, if you're not in role play, if you're not at a brokerage or a coaching group and you're not role playing, you need to, because this is a skill-based industry. I've seen so many realtors lose deals. I just saw this happen like a week ago because they didn't have the skill to communicate their value. So if you want to get into mine's literally $249 a month. Or if you're in coaching, it's included. Or if you're on the brokerage team, that's nationwide at Real, that's included as well. But if you just want to get into coaching for role play, $250, comment role play down below. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. Let's get you in there. We role play this all the time. That way you don't have the skill set. All right, so you're going to go across the board on all your prospecting methods. You're going to figure out what are my systems, what are my monthly systems, and what are my distractions. This whole section right here should be completely filled. And in the packet, it's all there so you can fill it out. Once you're done, now you transition over to this part. Your goal is to have the entire year. So if you went and got the big ass calendar, which I have no affiliation with, I just think it's awesome. But if you have this in your office, or you have the smaller version on your desk, what you're going to do is you're going to have that available. You're going to break down how much transactions you need to do each quarter. So if you're doing 24 divided by 4, 6, 12, 18, 24. So that means right here, I'm going to put 6 transactions under each quarter. And you're going to go fill this out all the way down. If you can keep a bird's eye perspective on a quarterly basis, the name of the game essentially is, can I stay on pace? Because if you don't do this, all of a sudden you'll be halfway through the year and you're 5 behind, which means now you have to do 5 in the second half and you end up not hitting your goal. So the goal is to have a yearly glance broken down into quarters. That's why you see right here, I have every quarter broken down. So in the big ass calendar, whether it's the workbook or the calendar, it does this for you. But you have to be aware of how many transactions you need to be on pace at all times. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your business plan, the ones that you picked right here, and you're going to put that into your schedule first. Live a life by design, which means by values. Live a value-based life. So I'm going to recommend that you take these 2 things and you prioritize these 5 things first. So time wealth. Obviously, to me, my kids are really important. So you're going to see right here, I have times with them in the morning, and that's one color. You're going to also see at night that we read and that we do gratitudes and that we put them together. So that's on my calendar because it's important to me and my time. You're also going to see my spouse on there because she's important to me. She's on my calendar. You're also going to see her right here. You're going to see date night. You're also going to see that I'm important to me, right? I'm part of my values, my mental health. So you're going to see the gym session. You're going to see a morning routine. You're going to see scripture study because God's important to me. Put all of your values, all the things that are important to you in the calendar before work. And I promise you, you'll live a more fulfilled life. Now, if no one's ever walked you through that before, and you need to know what to do with a morning routine and a nightly routine and a weekly planning, then comment systems plus which workbook of these 3 that you need. And I'll walk you through how to do a morning routine, how to do a nightly routine, and how to do a weekly routine or a morning routine. As you do that, you will focus and grow and feel fulfilled. If your tank is overflowing, real estate, again, is pretty easy, right? Remember, we don't fall to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. So now that all the wealth items are in my calendar, you're now going to take these different prospecting methods you chose right here, and you're going to take your weekly activities and you're going to put them into your calendar. So for example, if you're doing An hour FISBO expires, put that into your calendar. Let's say you're going to do door knocking right here. So you're going to put this into your calendar. You're going to come right here, and on Tuesdays, maybe Monday through Friday, every day, whatever you chose, that's going to go in your calendar. And it's going to say door knocking. If you're going to do open houses and you're going to do 3 a week, pick which days they are and put them on the calendar. Okay, on Saturdays, if you're going to prospect and then do open houses and then door knock, make sure that's on the calendar. Now, remember, 99% of your calendar will never change. Every top producer, their schedule is going to look just like this. So when you come and you do your weekly planning, you're basically just tweaking a couple things. You don't have to completely start from scratch, but make sure when you do that weekly planning that you have an eyeball on where you need to be in the quarter. And then also, where are all your wealth items? Is my time going to where it should? Am I connecting with my relationships? Am I getting better and growing? How am I doing with taking care of my health? And then are my financial goals, which is right here, are those in my calendar? If they're in your calendar just like this, as detailed as this is right here, then what happens is that increases the likelihood of you hitting your goals. Now, the last recommendation that I can give as you build out your 2026 business plan or compare it to how I built out mine is every morning, just like from the Harvard study that we mentioned earlier, because 3% of people that have goals and write them down do 30 times more in volume and wealth than everybody else. You need to have what's called a top 10 goals. So in your morning, The Miracle Morning, if you haven't read this book, it's a great book about morning routines. My booklet where I walk through a morning routine has the program that they built in here. Every morning you should have a blank piece of paper and write down, what are my top 10 goals? The most important goals. If I hit these, I would hit all my other goals. Every morning, write those out. And what that does is it tells your brain to focus on the things that matter most. We don't experience life like Tony Robbins talks about. We experience the life we focus on. So make sure every morning, your morning routine, you're writing out your top 10 goals. All right, if you have any questions as we wrap up your business plan, if you have any questions, reach out. Remember, I did 592 of these last year, but if you want a free consultation where I can compare and contrast my business plan outline and yours and see where the holes are, maybe offer some advice, comment free consultation in the video right now, and I'll get this out to you. Now, I'm gonna throw something in if you've watched all the way to the end. If you want this entire whiteboard and you want it as a PDF so you can actually go back and follow along, then what I want you to do is on your Instagram stories, take a selfie, talk about the episode you just watched, and then tag me on your Instagram story. If you do that, and then shoot me a DM on Instagram and comment here in the video your main takeaway, then I'll send you this entire whiteboard. Now, that's for free. Again, the whole purpose of these 12 episodes in Q1 is to give you as much as you can, or as much as I can, so that you completely thrive in 2026. Put so much money in your bank account so that you can go and take care of your family, go on the vacations you wanted, give back to charity, give back to the community, take care of your kids, create memories with them. Money is a facilitator. It amplifies what's already on your heart. So if there are things that are important to you out of these 5 topics we covered today, money just helps you do more of those things. And so make sure you comment for the free consultation so I can help you. Also, besides all that, if you want to be in our Tuesday free worldwide training call, comment free worldwide training. I train just like this, just like these whiteboards, every week for 30 minutes. There's almost 100 realtors in there from all over Canada and the US. Hop in. We're training on how realtors like these guys are putting deals under contract and how to replicate that in the next 72 hours. And I give out $100 to the person that does it first. Hopefully this was super helpful. I appreciate and love you. Thank you for following the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you go subscribe. If you haven't watched last week's episode, go back and watch it. That will build your foundation. This is episode number 2 out of the 12. These will build on each other so that you have a successful year. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next week.